thanks for that introduction. I'm not quite sure how to follow that up. We do have some great barbecue in Texas if you come down. If you ever come down to Dallas, look me up and I'll take you on a tour. So, real quick, my name is Tony Wright. I am the CEO of Wright IMC, which is a full-service digital marketing agency in Plano, Texas. What does that mean? It means I've been in the business for a long, long time. 20 years in the agency business, almost all of it digital. So, but while I've done just about everything there is to do in digital in one form or fashion at one time or another, search has always been my passion. I left the big giant PR gig years and years ago because I believed that search was the future. And it turned out pretty well for me. Now we're seeing that all coming back together. It's actually been for a few years now. So we can go ahead and go to the next slide here. Oh, I will do that, sorry. I have a clicker. Excuse me. Oh, by the way, who's Conference Grump on the Twitter feed? Who is he? I expect some really snarky comments about me, by the way. Okay, this is a blank slide. I'm not sure. Okay. Again, who am I? Already did that. This is me and my buddy Matt. Anybody you guys know Matt? Matt Cutts, he's really not my buddy. He's talked to me on Twitter a couple times. But Matt Cutts was a big deal a few years ago. Now he's kind of running some sort of digital ops for the government. I've been in business for a long, long time. I do have 4 kids. So I'm busy. I have 12, 8, 6, and 4, 2 older boys, 2 younger girls. And I move slow because I eat a lot of barbecue. But I talk fast. So if I'm talking too fast, take notes, because the way I do this, we can go to the next slide there, sorry, is I don't give you a ton of information on the slide. I'm going to talk a lot about this stuff. And this is my first time actually giving this particular presentation. It's a new one, so you guys are getting kind of my test audience, but that also means you're getting the fresh stuff. So take notes. The slide deck will help you kind of remember, but it's not going to be everything. So be glad that you're here. This is not a presentation about how to get more traffic or better rankings. There are other people that can talk about that. And there's a lot of stuff. If you're interested in that, come talk to me because I can help you. I can also help you know where to go find that information. This is not about stats. I hate presentations where they throw a lot of stats in because you know what? I can find an opposite a stat almost always. Stats, you want stats, you can Google them. And I'm not going to talk about which tactics or strategies are better. Most strategies and tactics have their place and time. Whether or not you're a paid search person, an SEO guy. By the way, how many technical SEOs do we have in the house here? A couple guys? Okay, you guys just listen, because this is really a good information for you. And turn off that programming brain just a minute, because we're going to go beyond that. So basically, stock photo. Are you underestimating the value of search? I'm going to say most likely that a lot of people in this room are. How many of you guys are familiar with the term attribution analysis? Wow. Okay. I'm going to back up just a hair. Attribution analysis is looking at the entire path of the visitor all the way down to the conversion, from introduction to conversion. Is anyone here doing that, even though you may not have heard the term? Looking at it from the time that they actually learn about you to the time they buy your product or service. Okay? You know what? If you are doing it, that's great, and I would imagine that you're in a linear business, because for most of us, that's the Holy Grail. And if we find it, we are going to drink from the cup of Christ, because we will know. Lord Jesus, we will know where our customers are coming from, where we are wasting our advertising dollars, and where we are not. I'm going to tell you that very few of us achieve that form of enlightenment. So, let's talk a little bit about what your search overall stuff looks like. What are your goals here when you're looking at SEO versus paid search? And do they fight? Do they get in battle royale? The hard goals of both of these programs, SEO and paid search. These are what your boss looks at you every day and says, did we get more leads? Did we get more sales? What's my return on investment? I'm paying you all this money. Why are you not getting me anything? I spent how much money? Well, what did we get for that? Return on ad spend. Return on evaluation. What does that mean? That's kind of something that I made up. Return on evaluation means, are we getting kind of something cool for this? The boss is looking at you saying, well, okay, we didn't get anything, but was my name up there? Did we rank for my name? Did we rank for this term that no one searches for that I really want to look for? Also known as return on ego. And we're also obviously, for those of us in the SEO business, and I love when a client will say, I want to see increased traffic, because you know what? That's freaking easy to get. I can get you increased traffic. I got some hacker friends. I can make it look like you got 1 million visitors to your website tomorrow. That's not going to help you. And then we've also got some soft goals. Now, a lot of you guys, especially you technical guys back in the back there, don't really think in these terms. But for us, marketing guys that have been around and doing advertising stuff, this comes from that. Branding. You don't think search can do branding? I beg to differ. I promise you, you do a split test of a SERP where you have just one listing, and do a split test of a SERP where you're listed in 4 different places, your conversion and to get that visitor to your site is going to be at least 60% higher. Said I wasn't going to do stats? I didn't, because you know what? I made that number up. So I don't know. But that's what I suspect. Awareness. Can you create awareness through search? Absolutely. Especially paid search, because paid search then kind of goes into programmatic and some contextual stuff if you want to do that. So you can really build awareness. Can you improve in perception? Absolutely improve perception. Top of funnel engagement. Whoa, top of funnel. That's not the last click. That's where people are first discovering who you are when they're first doing their research. Some of you, especially if you have a high decision product or service, where maybe you're selling a $50,000 forklift or a $30,000 a year education or even a $5,000 big screen TV, people are going to research it. You got to hit them at the top of the funnel. Ego keyword placement, got to go back to that. You know, a lot of people, I can't tell you how many of my clients are just like, I just want to show up for that word. Why? Because I do. Because it means something to me. Okay. You want to get there, that's fine. SERP sculpting. That's what I said, having those 4 different placements. Are you doing local SEO? Are you doing paid search? Are you doing organic? Do you have stuff in suggested searches under your competitors' terms? Ah, that's a new one. Some of you guys, the SEO guys are thinking, ooh, that's an interesting one. How do I get my search term to show up under my competitor when someone types in my competitor's term? How do I get that auto-suggest show up? That's a secret. If you want to know that one, come buy me coffee later. And competitive warfare. You're definitely looking at what are we talking about for my competitors? What are they doing? Can I beat them? Can I be ahead of them? You know, there's a famous quote by an SEO some of you may have heard of, named Greg Bozier. Greg Bozier says, spam. What is spam? What is search spam? Spam stands for sites placed above mine. So, if they think they're doing wrong, they're spamming, they're getting something that they don't deserve. You know what? Usually when you're seeing that, you're complaining about it because they're placed above you. Are you looking beyond the last click? From the hands in the room, it doesn't sound like a whole bunch of us are. So that means we are only seeing a very, very short part of the journey of our customer. It's like the customer has driven to Oklahoma City from Dallas, Texas, starting at 3:30 in the morning. Oh, wait, that was me today. But you saw just me pulling into the parking lot and said, wow, that guy had it easy. You know, that's basically what we're doing just by looking at last click. Last click only tells part of the story. Attribution is essential to get the most out of your search and to understand the value of what you're doing with your search campaigns. When you start doing attribution modeling, attribution weighting, attribution analysis, all of these fancy words, when you start doing it, your bidding strategies in paid will change. Your keyword strategies in SEO will change. Because you know what? The clicks that contribute to the conversion are not necessarily the clicks that cause the conversion, but they both play a role. What is driving your results? Are you focusing on one part of the funnel? Are you hitting that last click and saying, that's where we want to be advertising? You know what? If you have a limited budget, if you're like on a shoestring saying, you know, I've got $500 a month and I really am just trying to survive here, last click is fine. But if you're going to spend $10,000 a month or more, you need to be doing some sort of attribution modeling, some sort of attribution analysis. You're wasting money, you're leaving money on the table if you're not. Are you killing those last click efforts by focusing on the wrong thing? Here's where I get to tell my famous story. Back in, we were talking about it in the speaker's room earlier, so I had to get the exact year, 2004 to 2007, right before I started my agency. I worked for another agency, and I was in charge of all of Gateway Computer's search engine advertising and search engine optimization. Anyone here remember the big cow boxes? Yeah? Some of you folks are really young and never heard of Gateway. But Gateway was a really big deal, and it had a pretty big budget. And I walked in, and we were immediately, the budget, when I walked in, it was a mess. We were able to clean it up, and we started showing results like you wouldn't believe. I'm talking year over year increases in conversions by thousands of %, and just overall conversion rate like nobody in that company had seen. It was actually not, in my opinion, it was a pretty good campaign, not great, but it was good for them. They'd never seen it. Well, the CEO of Gateway is just, oh my gosh, look at how cheap this search engine marketing is compared to our television and radio, and how much more it's bringing in compared to what those guys are. Let's just cut television, radio, and print and give it all to the search guy. I jumped and did a big dance. I was so happy. I was like, this is awesome. I got a huge payday. You know, it was great. And we took over the budget. We did what we could do. For about 6 months, things increased. We saw steady increases, and then they started kind of getting a little bit less and a little bit less. At the end of 6 months, the floor dropped out. You know why? Because we didn't have the support. We didn't have the support that television and radio were of creating the brand awareness that was driving the search, that was driving the last click. Don't be Gateway. How do you know what's working? Okay, you know what? Google Analytics. Anyone in here Google Analytics certified? Okay. Every single one of you, it doesn't take that long. You can study for it. It's not that hard. Go get Google Analytics certified. It's free. You go take a test. It will teach you tons of things that you don't know about the data that's of the people that are coming into your website. Attribution weighting. What is attribution weighting? That is the simple term for, okay, they came in through paid search, then they came in through organic search, and they actually bought the product, and they bought the product they typed directly into the browser bar to come in, or a bookmark. Okay, who gets credit for that sale? Well, in last click analysis, that was a direct type in. We don't know what happened. But if you go and look at the attribution, and Google Analytics will show you in the attribution analysis tab on the left, the path of the conversion, the paths of the conversions, if you have it set up right. Now, if you don't have it set up right, and if you're not a technical person, there's several agencies in town that can do that. I can do that. Definitely go get that done. So anyways, so you got to be able to trust your data. But anyways, you weight those things, and you need to, it's arbitrary. I may give a 50-50, or a 50-30-20, or opposite. It just depends, but you have to agree on it, because it's going to affect your advertising spend and your efforts and your resources. Data is your friend. You need to be following that customer path all the way through that funnel. Look at them. And you know what? If you want to get really into this, there are some tools out there you can spend some money on that will basically track the customer. And they don't have the holy grail yet, and offline to online is a nightmare, but there are a lot of really good tools you can use to go beyond Google Analytics. Although Google Analytics in the last 2 years has really upped their game in attribution. 5, 10? Okay. So, if your channel or keyword isn't delivering, you need to figure out why. Why is it not delivering? Am I just looking at last click? Is it actually hitting? Is that keyword or channel hitting and pushing people down to the bottom of the funnel, or is it not? Real quick, how many of you guys do PPC, paid search, advertising buying? Okay, a few of you. You guys already know this secret. I'm going to tell everybody else, just for my friends at Bing here. One of the things about a channel, you know what, Bing? Secret. Bing converts better than Google. It does. We call Bing, in our office, we call Bing the old man search engine. You know why? First of all, as he said, it's on Siri and all that stuff. But when you buy a new computer and you open up that browser, that Internet Explorer, it's set going to Bing. If you have a product, if you're selling to boomers and you're not advertising on Bing, you're making a mistake. Sidebar, sorry. Channel or keyword isn't delivering, figure out why. That's where the data analysis comes in. I'm not going to tell you how to do data analysis. I've only got 30 minutes. Don't just think from the bottom of the funnel, about that bottom of the funnel, think about the top. How are people finding you? When a client, a prospect comes into my office, I put them in 2 buckets. The first bucket, commodity. I'm selling something that a lot of other people are selling, and everybody knows about it, and everybody's searching for it. Discoverability. I've got a brand new product nobody even knows they need yet. Very different campaigns, very different attribution weightings, much more focus on the top of the funnel here. If you focus on the bottom of the funnel on a discoverability product, you will fail. I'm going to say that unequivocally. I guarantee it. And I don't guarantee a lot of things. So what should you do? I said it before. Become an expert at Google Analytics. It's not that hard. If you finished 7th grade math, you can do it. If you didn't, we are in Oklahoma. Sorry, I have to make that joke. Sorry, you can get after me later. Hey, I lived in Arkansas for 5 years. I actually lived right on the border of Oklahoma and Arkansas, writing for a newspaper. I love Oklahoma. Tulsa's a great town, and I've been to Oklahoma City a few times now, and I really like it. So show me a good time tonight. But anyways, if you're looking for conversion paths, don't just look at that last mile. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Sorry for the cliche. My journalism professors hated when I used cliches. So I always have to apologize for them. But it is. We're not looking at customer acquisition in the last 5 minutes. We're looking at it over time. And you need to be doing so as well. Multi-touch, multi-channel helps search. What does that mean? I have a lot of people saying, they come in, we're spending too much on AdWords, so I'd like to do SEO to cut my ad spend. That is a huge mistake. Every single client that we have that does both sees a return, not just 2 times, but 3 times, 3x times when they do both. Perception on the SERP is a real thing. And having multiple places in the search engine results page will help you get a click and get a conversion. Cannibalization is rare. We look for it, but it's really we probably spend way too much time looking for it for the amount of times that we actually find it. We're actually cannibalizing ourselves in our paid search and organic search. And use multiple channels when possible. I'm a huge fan of spreading yourself out there to drive traffic to your website. Now, go back to content marketing. Don't create your content, don't create your brand on someone else's brand. That's called digital sharecropping. And that's actually what my next book is about. But use everything you can afford to drive traffic to your site. And then look at what's working and cull from there. Stop looking at rankings and traffic as anything other than indicators. If you walk into my shop and say, hey, Tony, I want to show up for this term. I'm going to say, well, is that it? Okay, you're not a client. I will not take a client who will judge me on rankings. Won't do it. Can I get rankings? Absolutely. I ranked #1 for the term mesothelioma once. Anybody know what that is? Asbestos-based lung cancer, which is a horrible, horrible, horrible thing. But it's also the most competitive keyword on the planet. At one point, $600 a click. I ranked #1 for it in organic SEO. Not afraid of a keyword, but if you're going to judge me by it, I'm not going to take you on as client because it means you're not thinking in the right way. And with that, boom, yes, thank you. This is me. Let's connect. My Twitter handle is down there at the bottom. It's on the bottom of every slide, I think. If you have any questions, I will be around today and a little bit tomorrow before I drive back. Also, tweet me, email me, whatever you need, tweet at me, and I will be happy to answer any questions. Are we out of time? Okay. If there are any questions, you can ask me about anything. If you want to ask me about, really cool stuff like Texas Tech football, barbecue, that kind of stuff. I'm a huge Texas Tech Red Raider fan, by the way. So, guns up. Anybody? No? You're all Oklahoma State, yeah. Okay. Good win OU, by the way, last week. Make the Big 12 proud. I was very, you can have that Baker Mayfield kid. We had him at Tech. He didn't make it. But anyways, do we have any questions? I'm happy to answer any questions about analytics. If you have a technical question, I'll do my best to field it. Yes, sir.
Hi, Tony.
Hey.
Thanks for the presentation. I was wondering, how do you feel about brand awareness campaigns on places like Facebook and Twitter versus PPC?
I prefer brand awareness campaigns on Facebook. Twitter, kinda. If you can find the hashtags, you can find the audience. Twitter's ecosystem and their advertising offerings are just not there yet. Facebook, if you are not advertising on Facebook, good Lord, you're missing out. The targeting that you can do, getting into people's feeds, it sounds like getting into their business, but basically it is. You're putting your brand in front of them, and you know what? Most of my friends don't even find it disruptive as they're going through the feed. I've talked to a lot of people. Now, I don't have any stats on this, but as you're going through your feed, you see an ad, you're like, oh, well, that's just another post. When you realize it's a sponsored post, you can get so much engagement in Facebook, so many sales. And the other thing, top of funnel, Facebook has some really great data collection tools. And you know what I do? Lookalike audiences all day long. If you haven't seen Dennis Yu speak of Blitz Metrics, and he's anywhere near you, find him. His $1 a day Facebook strategy is brilliant, and it works. And Facebook is actually, I would say, in our agency, I'm going to guess that in the next year, maybe even quicker than that, our clients are going to be spending more on Facebook than they're spending on Google. Because of that brand awareness and discoverability. And the last click, we can usually spend a lot less. If we've got discoverability at the top of the funnel, then on the paid search site, now it depends on the product, but most of our clients are service, lead-based, lead-oriented. Lead gen, Facebook is golden. Now don't collect the leads on Facebook, collect the leads on your website. You can do that in Facebook, I don't like it, but use Facebook to get those people in. And the thing is, you know the only thing that works better than search? The only thing that actually works better than search is your own opt-in email list. It's more valuable to you than any asset that you have from a digital perspective. So anything you can do to grow that, which Facebook can help you do it. Is that the only question? Everybody's shy?
I got time for about one more.
Okay.
Hi there. Thanks for the presentation.
Sure.
New or old UI for the AdWords experience?
Say that one more time.
Do you prefer the new or the old UI for the AdWords experience?
You know, I'll tell you, there was a long time ago when I used to be in that thing every day. And I hate to say it, I'm not in it every day. As I have Now I have a staff of God knows how many people I have to pay next week. But I have a staff that, and my paid search guys are much better at it than I am. I've seen the new UI. I don't feel qualified to tell you whether, which one is better. Which one do I like better? I don't care, the one that makes me money. So that, as far as PPC goes. If you are interested though, I'm happy to put you in touch with my vice president of paid search, and he could probably talk your ear off on it. Everybody in our agency talks a lot like me, so we don't get anything done. Anyways, anything else? Hey, if not, I will see you guys around the conference. Feel free, please come up to me, talk to me, tell me what a great job I did. If you have constructive criticisms, but post them about the Bing guy. Okay? Thanks, I appreciate your time.